Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to get right into it. We're going to talk about self-limiting beliefs. I talk a lot about self-limiting beliefs, and I see a lot of other people talking about it. It's kind of become like a little buzzy word lately in the coaching, spiritual, not necessarily spiritual community, but just in the coaching community in general, and the mental health community. So what is a self-limiting belief? Essentially, it's beliefs that you have about yourself that aren't aligned with your true self. Feelings of or beliefs that you're unworthy, scarcity, lack, things like that. So it's a negative belief, a belief that creates fear. There's only two human emotions, love and fear. So self-limiting beliefs all derive from some sort of fear of something. Now, once you recognize a self-limiting belief that is out of alignment with your true self, you drop it immediately. And I know people have commented on me saying that, because I say it a lot, that how could it be that easy? Well, the work is in identifying those self-limiting beliefs. So oftentimes we have self-limiting beliefs that are deeply rooted in our unconscious that we're not even aware of. So there is work in identifying those beliefs, but once you identify them, they are gone. You drop them. They are out of alignment, and once they move from your unconscious mind to your conscious mind, you drop them immediately. So how do people discover or bring about our self-limiting beliefs that are causing us from living wonderful, beautiful, happy lives, those things that block us, those feelings of being stuck? Well, there's lots and lots of things that people do and that you can do. Meditation, inner child work, shadow work, mindfulness, there's a vast array of coaches in very specific areas that help people release blocked, stuck, negative emotions and uncover these, self-limiting belief systems. Hypnosis, rewilding, like there's massive things, and you just have to, play with it and discover which one of those things is aligned with you. Everybody is different. Everybody arrives at things differently and in their own time. One thing that you can do immediately is ask yourself important questions. Ask yourself empowering questions. So we will always move towards what we value and move away from what we don't value. Now, you can view this as like your morals, however, whatever you want to call it, but innately as human beings, we move toward what we value and away from what we don't value. So you have to determine and uncover what your core values are. So ask yourself, what is important to you? Just in your life, what's important to you? Your family, your career, and work that you're doing, whatever it is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like what exactly you're doing right now, but just in life, like again, like I said, like if money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing right now? Like, that's your core value. That's what's important to you. So, family, and that's a lot of people's core value is what's important to them. So make a list of that. What is important to you? What are your core values? And then from each one of those things that you get, and now your list could be completely different, like maybe adventure and traveling, things like that. Those could be, what do I want? One of mine is to see as much of the world as I possibly can. That's a huge core value of mine. So once you get all of those, ask yourself, what does that give you? So if something that you want, or what's important to you, family is important to you. So what does that give you? What does family give you? Love, security, comfort, companionship. If traveling is a core value to you, what does that give you? Adventure, it expands your mind, opens your mind, learning, like, so from each one of those things. So ask yourself these trying to get down to your core values, and you will start to, even just doing that, you will start to release negative belief systems. So then you can look at your life, like, do you have repeated patterns that continually show up in your life? And this can be negative and positive, and just write them down. Like, do you experience the same kind of people in your life? Do you experience the same kind of situations in your life? Do you find yourself saying like, oh, not again, going through this again, like things like that? And write those down. And then what is that situation trying to teach you? What can you learn from the situation? And once you kind of recognize that, you're going to see that these once you learn from the situations, negative or positive, and again, there is really no negative and positive, and I'm going to get to that in a second. You will start to see these patterns, and then that energy will start to alleviate. These patterns and negative belief systems are it's fear's way. Fear is like the messenger of showing you what you're out of alignment with in your life. So those are some questions that you can ask yourself to start to try and identify these belief systems. So and jealousy is a big one that for some reason just keeps coming up. So like, what is jealousy? Like, jealousy is a desire to have something that somebody else has that you don't believe you can have, or you're not worthy, or you'll never make enough money, or you'll never fall in love, or all of those things. So break that down. What is that core belief? That scarcity, right? If you're talking about money, that you have a negative belief that there's not enough money. There's a feeling of lack, a feeling of scarcity, and money. And the more I go out in the world, the less people are using cash. So think about money this way, and I don't want to get into like money manifestation, but a simple thing that you can, if you have, and a lot of people do have negative belief systems around money. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? What we're told. Money is the root of all evil. If you have a lot of money, you're a bad person, right? So these are all negative belief systems tied around money. Hey, Mary. So if you reframe it and look at it from a different perspective, I think, and I don't know the exact statistics or percentage, but I believe it's only like 3 or 5% of the money in the world actually physically exists in paper money and gold. Everything else is just numbers in a computer screen, right? The more I go out in the world, like I was saying, the less places are taking cash. It's all credit, Bitcoin, right? Money doesn't actually exist. They're just numbers on a computer screen. You call up banks and people can wipe out overdraft charges. It's just somebody controlling those numbers and zeros. So if you start to perceive money that way, you will start manifesting money. I experience this in my life. My husband experiences this in life. We manifest large amounts of money that have nothing to do with the work that we do. It's not a paycheck. It has nothing to do with that. And I know, and I don't want to like specifically like get into details about our like financial businesses, especially because it's my husband's. But when I talk about manifesting money, I talk about like literal checks, like coming to our house out of nowhere. So I got off the subject. I didn't intend on talking about money. Jealousy. So if you have a negative belief and you're having trouble like digging down and finding out what that core value is or where that's coming from, take the negative belief, like I was saying, like jealousy, and break it down. And what is that? Jealousy isn't really jealousy. Jealousy is a feeling of, or a belief that, in a belief that you're unworthy to get something that you see somebody else have, or a scarcity of lack, that there isn't enough to go around. And so I gotta make a crazy turn right here, and this truck is not letting me over. Let me over. Thank you. So what I was saying before is like, negative and positive belief systems. So there really is no such thing as a negative belief, because if you perceive every situation as positive, then you will only get a positive outcome from it. And I know that when you're in things that suck, it's hard to see that, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I posted a video a couple days ago about this kind of like assignment that I had to do in my hypnosis academy. And in it, I talk about how I left my previous career for untoward things, negative people, toxic situations, toxic people, and harassment. And I just threw it up on Instagram and social media just to share it. If you don't know a lot about me or my journey, it's kind of helpful to know where I'm coming from. And I got a lot of, engagement and comments and stuff. And something that was really interesting is that there were people that liked that and commented in a positive way that were actually that were the actual people that I was talking about. The toxic people that were involved negatively in these situations, that were either passive bystanders to the harassment that I experienced and did nothing, never spoke up. And you know what? You don't even have to, if someone's experiencing something, harassment or whatever, you don't necessarily, if you don't feel comfortable like stepping in or whatever situation it is, every situation is different, but just going to that person and acknowledging that you see what's going on, even if you can't do anything about it, that is huge to the person going through it. It really is. So I'm talking about people that observed this situation and did and said nothing, not a phone call, nothing. So anyway, I was like, that's weird.